In this video, we're going to take you for a drive and we're going to talk about the new 991.2 steering wheel upgrade that we did. This is such a great upgrade, so let's get started. It looks absolutely stunning. Like, it absolutely goes amazing with this entire setup. If you look, we've got chrome here, we've got a chrome trim on here, and then we've got the chrome bezels. This really like amped up the interior big time. The original steering wheel was cool for its time, but the shifters, the thumb shifters, were really odd. And when I first bought the car, everybody's like, "You gotta get rid of those and get traditional paddle shifters." And that's when I started the journey. So there's all types of combinations and all types of configurations that you could do for a steering wheel upgrade, but I decided to go with the best of the best. So this is a 991.2 steering wheel. And what I mean by that, if you're not familiar with the .2, that's the next generation of the 991, meaning that the interior looked the same, the gauges were a little different, but the engine configuration was different. It was turbocharged, and that's gonna tie into this knob or this little rotation switch here, rotary switch here, that we'll talk about here in a bit. But this look definitely really improved the look of the 991, and in the 99.1 it goes perfectly. So after we installed the steering wheel, and if you're not familiar, we did a video on how to remove the steering wheel, how to connect the GPS harness, and how to reinstall or install the new steering wheel, the 991.2, this one. We did a whole video about that, and that was really cool because we did it step by step. But one of the big differences that I noticed right away when I took off the old steering wheel was it was pretty big and bulky. It was definitely bigger than this one. Now, it wasn't bigger in circumference, it's the same diameter, but it felt like it was wider and thicker. So the cool thing about this is that when I put this on, I noticed it, and I was able to go underneath here, and I was able to telescope the steering wheel, and it gave me kind of the same distance that I was used to with the old one. Now, my car did come with the multifunction display. If you look right here, we have the multifunction display and the new button compared to the old one. They're both like this little ball button, but this one actually feels really nice. It feels really, really good, and it works perfect. And then we have our volume button, which works really nice. And then I did have the heated option, which in the bottom, the heated option still works. And honestly, super, super happy with this. And the cool thing about the GPS harness that I used is that it has prior mode memory, meaning that whatever you left the car in, if you wanted to start up in certain settings, it has those, which is really neat. But the rotary knob is what really sets this steering wheel apart from many. And this, in my opinion, is the best of the best because it really makes it look aggressive. If you think about the 918 Spider, it also has a button just like this, with the exception that the center button is red, but I really think it ties into everything really beautiful, really nicely. And one of the things that I love is that if you want to, right now we're in sport mode. If you look right here, let's talk about this button right here. I call it the rotary button, but right now we're on sport, which is about 3 o'clock. If I drop it down to sport plus, which is 6 o'clock, it does it. And it's super fast. And one thing that I love about all of this is that you didn't have to do any crazy wiring. With the GPS harness, this works Bluetooth, and it works absolutely incredible, which is really neat. Really, really like this. So, you know, if you're done with that, you just go back to sport, and you're back in sport. And then you have an individual setting, and then if we want comfort, we're in comfort. Man, this car is so comfortable. And the reason why I love the steering wheel is because it adds class and it adds a sportier look. It does both. It isn't too much, and it's just right, if that makes sense. It really gives it a real classy look. So let's talk about the center button, which is crazy. When you press it, you get like 20 seconds or so of Sport Plus mode for like overtakes, and then it turns itself back to whatever setting you have, which is really cool. So on the 99 1.2, it's like a boost button, like an over boost button, if you're like in a different setting, which is really neat. And look at that, for 20 seconds we had Sport Plus, and now it's gone. We're back to comfort mode, which is kind of neat. It adds like an extra feature to the car, which is really neat. So let's talk about the steering wheel feel. Well, first off, it's a Porsche part. It's a Porsche steering wheel, and so it feels like it belongs, because it does. It goes to the same chassis, to the same interior configuration, so it's not out of place, which is really good. And I like that. I like that a lot. As far as the leather feels amazing. It just feels so plush. It feels comfortable. It feels classy, luxurious. So there's only one thing I do have to mention, and that's because I've had about 60 cars, and that's that the paddle shifters are nice, but here recently I sold an AMG GTS that I put magnetic shifters on, and those are really cool. They're like this magnetic shifter that clicks and stuff like that, and it just feels really unique and really cool. So these are very nice. They're very subtle. They feel good, and coming from not having paddle shifters versus those thumb things, it's a big, humongous difference. So I'm super happy about that. But definitely I got spoiled with the magnetic ones. I'm not sure if I'm going to do it to these, because they look like it's a little bit more of an intricate install. Nothing too crazy, but having traditional paddle shifters now is amazing. And I kind of do like that they're seamless. There's not like a lot of fanfare with them, so it you kind of focus more on the actual car and shifting versus anything else, which is really neat. But I'm gonna be honest with you, this is just the best upgrade, hands down. Absolutely amazing upgrade. Aesthetics, driving experience, look, usability, upgrade. It's just a win-win-win. And like in our videos we talked about, I also feel very good that I opted to spend a little bit more on the Porsche airbag, which makes me feel good, because this airbag goes to this steering wheel, and this steering wheel is a Porsche part, so it goes on a Porsche, so everything works like it's supposed to, and I like that, and I feel good about it. I don't have anything in the back of my head, you know, that I'm worried about. It's just a really cool experience. So I got all my parts from Suncoast Porsche Parts. I mean, if you're into Porsche, you know they're just an awesome company. They're a Porsche dealership, and that's where I always recommend everyone to get their stuff, because it's just a great place. All right, guys, bye.